This handle on this push broom doesn't fit. We can attach it by using a plastic bottle. Cut off the top of the plastic bottle and then fix it to the handle using some screws and a heat gun. Next, we'll screw the cap to the top of the brush head. Simply twist the two pieces together and it's good as new. Next, we'll be installing a door handle. First, we want to mark out the faceplate so that it sits. We can hold it in place by using screws. Use a utility knife to mark around the faceplate and then remove the screws and the latch assembly from the door. Use a chisel to remove the outer layer of wood, like so. Next, we'll use a spade drill bit that's equal to the width of the latch assembly, and we'll mark the depth of the latch assembly into the drill bit. Now we can drill multiple holes to make carving out this space quicker and easier. We can then remove the remainder of the wood . Now line up the latch assembly with the mortise to the side of the door and mark where the handle and the lock will go. Drill the appropriate size holes for both the handle and the lock. Hammer the latch assembly into place if necessary and drill the screws into the faceplate. Insert the spindle and attach the handles. Make sure that everything works like it should. Here's a quick way to sharpen knives. Twist two nuts onto a long bolt and tighten the bolt into the chuck. Fasten the drill into the vise and turn on the drill while passing the blade between the two nuts to sharpen the knife. Next, we'll be making a miter box using this aluminum C-channel frame. We'll make our marks using a construction square, one at 90 degrees and one at 45 degrees. Use a hacksaw to cut through the metal. Now we'll place the wood in the frame, and we can make even cuts with our handsaw. Here's one at 90, and here's one at 45. How about adding a depth stop to our handsaw? This will prevent us from cutting too deep. Add a long piece of rectangular scrap wood and apply some double-sided tape to the back. Next, we'll make our marks on the saw to the depth that we need. One mark on each end. Now we'll lay our depth stop just above our marks. Measure it one more time just to be sure. Now let's crack open some walnuts. Find a wide drill bit and drill a few holes into a piece of scrap wood, then lay another piece of scrap wood on top, and then hit it with a hammer. Pour everything out and our walnuts are peeled. Having a way to stabilize this angle grinder is a requirement for safety, so we'll need to make a holder. We'll mark out the circumference of the outer lip shield, but ultimately, the grinder will rest on the inner lip shield. We'll get the measurement of the inner lip shield and cut out a half circle like so. Now, we'll screw this holder to a piece of scrap wood, which we'll clamp to the table. Set the grinder in the holder and check if it's stable. If we need to cut the end of the baseboard square, we can do so by creating a quick saw guide with only right angles. Trim off the excess baseboard until it's square. When cutting with a jigsaw or even with a circular saw, cutting freehand will leave us with an uneven cut. We can use a speed square as a guide to make straight, even 90-degree cuts and 45-degree angle cuts. We need to change the sandpaper on our belt sander. Cut a long piece of sandpaper that matches the width of the belt sander. Now add some glue to one end and stick it to a piece of scrap wood. Now we can tear off some of the grit, leaving behind just the paper. Now we can add our super glue to the paper end and attach it back to the other end of the sandpaper. Slip on the new sandpaper and give it a try. The edges of this board aren't lined up. We can secure them to a piece of wood and run a router bit through them. Now our two boards should be flush. We can keep these hazelnut shells from flying everywhere by placing them inside of this wrench. To start out, this hack involves holding the nut in place for long enough to line it up with the bolt. A piece of double-sided tape should do the trick. It's hard to hammer out these nails when the board keeps moving. Try hammering it through this hole in the plywood. To mark even lines on pipes and tubing, attach a metal to the side of this marker. Here's a quick way to make a DIY funnel. Simply attach a PVC pipe to the top half of a plastic bottle. If you can't decide between screws or nails, screws don't have the shear strength that nails have, so in this case, nails will be the better option. Here's a great way to store your chainsaw. Slice open some foam tubing, then wrap it around the chainsaw chain and secure it with some tape. Here's a little close-up of an interesting way to solder two wires together. Next, we'll build a flashlight using this rechargeable 12-volt drill battery. First, we'll cut out a slot for the on and off switch. Then we'll attach these disconnects to the LED wires and crimp them with a crimping tool. Drill a hole into the top of the flashlight and pass the LED wires through the hole. The wires should be able to reach the slot. Attach the on and off switch and press the switch into the slot. Attach the other ends of the wire to the battery. Now we just plug in the LED bulb. Let's take a look at some different types of anchors and how they actually anchor themselves into the wall from the other side. Here's a life hack that works on cheap locks. Slap the side of the lock with a magnet to release the latch and open the lock. If we fold over this nail with a pair of pliers and then repeat it a few times, we can make this beautiful piece of art. Although it's easy enough to make a straight line using a ruler, it's almost impossible to make a straight cut without using a guide. So let's make a guide for our jigsaw. Make a straight line across a board and mark the center of where the jigsaw blade is. Now drill a 1-inch hole centered on that mark. Cut the board in half along the straight line. And to make sure the edge is straight, we can plane off this inner edge. Remove the 2 bolts from one side of the jigsaw and lay down some double-sided tape. Lay the larger piece of board so that the smaller board can be lined up on the tape. Now we can drill holes into the board where the screws would go. Remove the board and drill larger holes for the longer screws. Now we'll screw the board into the bottom of the jigsaw and reinsert the blade. Next, we'll draw our line and clamp a board with its edge lined up to the mark. Now we have a guide that cuts right on the line every time. Here we have some old clippers. We can sharpen them by sliding a piece of fine grit sandpaper between the 2 blades. Turn on the clippers and move the sandpaper around to bring the blades back to their former sharpness. When sanding, sawdust can gather in corners and edges. To prevent this, we can place a drywall knife along the edge as we sand. Drilling holes directly into metal like this can leave a rough and uneven hole. By placing the metal sheet between 2 pieces of wood, drilling becomes much easier and neater. Sometimes our PVC pipe doesn't match the fitting. We can use this socket fusion tool to connect these pieces together. We'll use this for our selfie stick. Drill some screws into a small board so that your phone can slide in and out. Then mount a PVC clip onto the back. Now we can mount 2 more clips into the wall and attach our selfie stick. And if your camera isn't mounting to the wall like it should, You can rub some fresh garlic to the inside of the suction cup.